The deadline is approaching for Carter Bryant and Arizona basketball, and a few names that you need to know.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. Today's episode is brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, we are going to talk Arizona basketball today. We are going to talk a lot of Arizona basketball today and the names that you need to know in the transfer portal and what you need to know about Carter Bryant's decision. Now, first, Carter Bryant has not entered the NBA draft yet, at least, to our knowledge, Carter has not declared yet. So we need to keep that in mind. But Carter's obviously got three different options. Carter cannot declare for the draft, and then he can preserve, and then he can basically preserve his eligibility and come back. He can also decide that he is going to enter the NBA draft. And then if he doesn't, if he wants, then he can stay in the draft. If he wants, he can leave. He can do whichever one he wants. That is a pretty good setup for him as well. He can also do something else, and he can declare, and he can basically say, okay, I want to come back or I want to stay. Those are basically his three options right there. Now, where we see Carter on mock drafts is generally in the 20s. That's somewhere and that's somewhere where I think he's probably going to land. Maybe he gets a little bit higher than that, but we will see. Who knows? But he's going to be obviously in demand. The other thing that I think with Carter that's also enticing about his situation, at least for him, is that he is going to make a lot of money. He is going to make a lot of money. And watching him, he's also the kind of player too where you're like, man, that guy could really come back and he could be a real force for Arizona next year. I mean, he's got that type of ability to him, but we're going to find out. We've been talking about this for a long, long time right now, and I think we're at the point where we're just going to have to see what happens and how this unfolds. And I can see it unfolding a number of different ways for Arizona. But there's also there's going to be names to know. There's going to be names that we need to talk about and how this roster does fill out. So let's get to a couple of those names. Now, the first one is that everybody's talking about is Jamir Watkins. Now, he's out of Florida State. Now, everybody knows he wants to stay in the NBA draft, but I want to stay in the NBA draft too. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get picked for it. So you got to factor that part in. And then the other thing too, when it comes to the NBA draft, is where are some of these guys? And can they make more money going overseas or staying in college? They can make more. They can make more money. They can make more money in college. I mean, that's something that I think is a little bit different. And so you got to keep that in mind. And then the other thing too is how do they fit in? Arizona's got a lot of money, and Arizona's got an open spot available to play. And I think that's what's intriguing about this. Now, the coaching staff is not stressing about this at all. They're going to let Carter go through the process. And, honestly, if Carter goes off to the NBA, you totally get it. But at the same time, this is also a guy that averaged 6 points per game. So again, he is, like I said, you want him back at all costs, but it's also not like you're losing Gilbert Arenas after his sophomore year and you don't really know what you're going to do after that. But Jamir Watkins would be the number one player. Again, he averaged 20 points per game at Florida State. He is I don't know that he's really a great NBA prospect, but he's definitely somebody that can put some points on the board, and you got to feel pretty good what he can bring to the table. I like him a lot. I like him a lot, and I think he would fit in really well. Arizona needs guys that can get buckets, and if Arizona can get buckets, or if Arizona can get guys that can get buckets, then that's going to be something that I think is going to be it's going to be very interesting. So we will, like I said, we're going to see how that one does. We'll see how that one does play out. Now the some of the other guys too, Desmond Claude, and I think Desmond Claude is the epitome of last minute entry into the portal that Arizona fans could possibly be interested in. He is I like Desmond Claude a lot. He was at Xavier and he was at USC, and the guy basically averaged 17 points per game. Really, really good. He is he can get buckets. Now, is he the kind of player that you look at and you're like, all right, he's going to be able to make up a huge difference for me? No, but he is also on the defensive side of the court, not going to probably be what the possible impact that Carter is. That's cool. But he's also going to be a player that he would also be a player offensively that can do a lot more than Carter at the college level. And again, we got to be clear here. None of this is bashing Carter, because I love Carter. I think Carter's a fantastic basketball prospect. He is the top priority. I'm just talking about putting things in relevance where they're at. And I think you can easily make the case that Desmond Claude would be maybe even could maybe even be an upgrade. That's what I'm talking about. I think people have this idea that Carter the prospect versus Carter right now is something that I think people need to look at and take a step back, because again, he averaged 6 and 4 this past year. Again, I love Carter, but it's not like, you're losing somebody that's averaging 16, 17 points a game. Desmond Claude is a fascinating one for me because, again, if he can get to the bucket, he can finish, and Arizona needs somebody like that. Arizona, listen, you lost somebody in Caleb Love that could really do that. It could do that to the extreme. You need somebody else that can really kind of step in there now and do that. And if that's Desmond Claude, along with Braden Burries and along with Jade Bradley on the perimeter, so be it. Now, let's talk a little bit more then about the other small forward options. And one of them, though, might even be on the team, and we're going to talk about him. But those are two names to really keep an eye on. Again, I don't know how Jameer Watkins, like I said, he wants to stay in the NBA draft, but I also don't know that, that there's going to be a market for him. So we'll see how that one does play out. Then you've got, obviously, we just talked about him. You got Desmond Claude, but I think Desmond Claude is kind of the idea that there's going to be a lot more Desmond Claudes, in my opinion. There's going to be other Desmond Claudes who they enter the NBA, or they want to go to the NBA, but they're just probably not going to get picked, and they can make a lot more money going back to college. And a lot of people are going to, I think, make that decision. We shall see. I would expect a flurry of players. Now, the other one too, there is a player here that we've talked a little bit about, and I think is probably going under the radar here a little bit. But first, game time, my friends. Game time. Check out Game Time. Okay, here's the deal with Game Time. Listen, with Game Time, there's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Did you watch that? Clippers Nuggets game last night? Fire, as the kids would say. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena. And with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get ticket prices, even when the demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. Okay, and again, last-minute deals, save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, you name it. The all-in pricing means no surprise fees at checkout. You see is what you pay. That is a great thing. Not going to be all these hidden fees. We don't like hidden fees. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Again, the NBA playoffs are here. Hop in there, my friends. Hop in there. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. Okay, now, let's talk about, we're going to talk about players all around, but we are also going to talk a little bit about, we're also going to talk about a guy on the roster. Now, as we've talked about time and time again, this coaching staff is in love with Dwayne Aristod. Dwayne Aristod is somebody that they really, really like, and I guess, if you look at it, you say he's the starting 3 next year. You could probably have worse things. I think there's obviously a little bit of inherent concern that comes with Dwayne Aristod because he's been injured for a while. And again, I mean, anytime you're banking on a small forward, that can be something that that can be something that is maybe not the best thing in the world, but he is he's a player though. He's a guy that he can do a lot of different things. He can like I said, he can he's that dude. And so if you were able to get him and he's ready to play, I think that'd be a good thing, obviously, for Arizona. We shall see. But he's good, though. I mean, like I said, there's really no doubt about that one. Then you look at somebody going back to the portal. You look at a Chad Missouri Baker, and he is or Baker Missouri, whatever it is. The kid from Auburn, he's going into his 29th year with college eligibility, but he's good. I mean, he is a player that, you watch him and you're like, okay, he can do a lot of different things. He's obviously leaving Auburn, but kind of a jack of all trades. If you put him in at that small forward spot, I don't know that anybody is super butthurt about that because again, he's good and he's older and he's got championship experience. I think the problem with him though is that you also don't know exactly how he is going to play because there's obviously been rumors about him. So take that, be that as it may. Now, but he would fit in very nicely there. As from a playing perspective, he would fit in very nicely. And I think, again, you could make the case that he would be better than Carter in just that 1 year. Again, long term, nobody's disputing that Carter's better than these players. And again, there's a reason that he's on NBA draft boards. Now, looking ahead then a little bit. What exactly would what does Arizona have to offer then? Well, it's pretty simple here. You got a lot to offer. You got $2 million, maybe $2 million, whatever the case may be, and a starting spot on a top 10 team. I mean, that's pretty enticing, and a school that puts a lot of dudes into the NBA. I mean, that's going to check off the box for a lot of kids, what Arizona can offer. And I think that's something that we shouldn't really lose track of, is that Arizona has a very, very appealing situation. How about that? And that's something that I think it's fairly easy to be able to sell kids on, is that appealing situation. So we will see. But Chad Baker, Missouri, another one that I think you're kind of like, all right, I can see that one. Now, got to give my friend Nick a lot of credit on one of these names right here that I actually have come to like a little bit, and that is the first one is Nick Dorne. I like Nick Dorne. A guy out of Elon, averaged 15 a game and could shoot a little bit, can defend. He would be a nice fit here at Arizona. Again, is he Carter Bryant? Probably not, but he would be a pretty good fit here. And I think that, that's something too with Tommy. Tommy is very, very picky. Tommy is going to always be the guy that is, he's going to take his chances and go with what he knows. And that is being picky. And there's a reason why. I mean, listen, he's done a very, very good job over the years of being able to basically find the type of talent that he is looking for, and then to be able to extrapolate it out and to be able to take it from there. He's done like I said, he's done a very good job of that, and you got to give him a lot of credit. He is Tommy's been a master when it's come to that, and he's going to be picky. I get it. And again, do I wish he offered more kids? Sure. But that's just not what he's going to do. And overall, the hit rate for them has been pretty darn good. So, you got to keep that in mind. But Nick Dorne, another one that I like a lot. I think that they're going to find somebody. Also, Tommy's history in the portal is pretty darn good. I mean, when he's lost out on players, he's found other guys that turned out to be just as good, if not better. And so I think we also got to trust him a little bit that he knows what he's doing, because a lot of these, like I always use the example of Ryan Nembhard. Remember when Ryan Nembhard went to Gonzaga, and then he decided or was going to go to Gonzaga, but Arizona thought they were going to get him? Well, guess what? They ended up with Jaden Bradley and Caleb Love. So, it is what it is. You got to this staff knows what it's doing, and I think that's something to absolutely keep in mind there. Now, speaking of which, a big thing is with Tommy Lloyd. A lot of people are always asking about his recruiting. What's going on with Tommy? Why isn't he offering more kids? Well, this past year, I mean, he kind of shut a lot of people up, because you're bringing in Koa Pete. You're also bringing in Braden Burries. You're bringing in Dwayne Aristod. You're bringing in Bryce James. I mean, you're bringing in a lot of players. So you got to give him a lot of credit there. So if he's not going to offer a lot of guys, but he's going to hit, that just is what it is, and you need to be able to make that one. You need to be able to make that one occur. But at the Arizona EYBL, there's going to be players there that Arizona is obviously recruiting, and that Arizona is going to try to get to become part of the program. Cam Holmes is a one that, we've talked about Cam Holmes a ton, and we will continue to talk about Cam Holmes. Cam Holmes is good. Cam Holmes is 6'6" kid out of Millennial, and he is a Millennial High School, and like I said, he's a really, really good basketball player. He's also somebody too that I think that you look at and you're like, what else could he develop into? And I think he can be that combo guard. I think he can be somebody that, at 6'6", can facilitate a little bit. The jumper has gotten better, but he's also, like I said, you look at him and you can just tell that's a guy that's going to play in the NBA. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That guy is going to play in the NBA, barring injury. He's another one that in-state, if you're Arizona, you absolutely want to get. I mean, he's been a priority recruit now for a couple of years, and there's a reason that he's been a priority recruit, because he's good and he can make an impact coming in immediately. He very much has the feel of a one-and-done type, and I think that's something that as an Arizona fan, a lot of Arizona fans wanted a one-and-done. Well, there you go. You're going to be able to get a one-and-done type if you were to get him, along with Koa Pete, along with Braden Burries. The other one, too, to keep a very close eye on is Akenna Alezi. Now, Alezi is out of, I believe, Compass Prep. Obviously not from Arizona originally, but he's another one. He's a monster. He is one of the handful of best point guards in the entire class. Arizona has been recruiting him for a long time, and they got a pretty good. They got a pretty big, good pitch for him. They can tell him, listen, man, you come in here, and you are going to. We got an open point guard spot for you, because Jaden Bradley is going to go off to the NBA. Or is graduating. Maybe he goes off the NBA. Braden Burries off to the NBA. So a lot of these dudes are, you've got some spots. And Akenna Alezi, this would be a nice place for a 1-year stopover before you go off to the NBA. But he's going to be there. He can do everything. He's jet fast. He's super athletic. You hear a lot from people about kind of those Russell Westbrook vibes, and I don't hate I don't hate that comparison, to be honest with you, with the Russell Westbrook vibes, because he's just a next level athlete, and he would make the transition for Arizona would be a lot easier if they were able to get somebody like Alezi. So that's very much a name to keep an eye on. Also, another name to keep an eye on is PrizePicks, my friend. PrizePicks right now. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with PrizePicks, the best plays for your daily fantasy sports. With PrizePicks, you pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. It's fun. And if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash, whether it's a strikeout, RBIs, or a ninth inning runs. PrizePicks keeps you in every game. It is exciting. Here's the great part about it, too. You can build your lineup. This week, I'm picking Aaron Judge for more than one home run and Shohei Ohtani for more than one stolen base. It's that easy, fast and simple, setting up a lineup in less than 80 or 60 seconds. And when you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. You like it. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 off instantly after you place your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 off instantly after you place your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. Locked on, your team every day. Okay, now, let's talk a little bit about where Arizona is for some other kids. Christian Collins will be there. Christian Collins is about as good a player as there is in the entire country. He is. He's really, really good. I don't know what else. I don't know what other way to put it. He's a 6'8" power forward. He goes to St. John's Bosco. Nationally, he's ranked third in the entire country. He is like I said, he is a monster. I mean, you look at that. You look in California, and California is loaded. The top 5 players in the entire country are from California: Terran Stokes, Brandon McCoy, Christian College, Taj Ariza, Jason Crow Jr. Those guys are studs. I don't like I said, I don't know how else to put it. It is a loaded in-state class, and he is right at the top. Taj Ariza is another one to keep an eye on. Ariza is like I said, Ariza is another one that there's a lot going for him. We will see though. But this is going to be interesting though. Christian Collins and Ariza, both two big time prospects. One a small forward, one a power forward, and they would fit in well. Again, Arizona with Tommy Lloyd is going to be very picky on who it offers. This is another example of that. These are 5-star kids with big time potential to them, and they would also be one and done. So if Tommy were to get them, that would be very much of the Braden Burries, Koa Pete type effect, where you're on them forever, and you're like, all right, well, it ends up being okay. Now, a lot of people are like, Tommy's going to get pushed around on NIL or, whatever the case may be. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen anything to indicate that. And not only have I not seen anything to indicate that, there isn't. He has shown that he can recruit at the highest level, and I expect 2026 to be another massive year for Arizona because there's a lot of players there that are good. Now, 2027 is another one. Bruce Branch. Bruce Branch is he's a player that you watch him and you're like, okay, that's going to be a top 5 prospect in the country. He's not quite there yet, obviously, but certain guys on the staff absolutely love Bruce Branch, and there is a reason that they love Bruce Branch because he is really, really good. Darius Wobbington is another name to know. Darius Wobbington will be up there. Sunny Slope kid, about 6'11", can really shoot the 3, can run. He's got kind of an odd body type. I get that. That throws some people off, but I don't really care about that when you're that tall and you can shoot. And it's not like he's a total klutz out there either. But there's going to be a lot of names. There's going to be a lot of names for Arizona fans to keep an eye on because you watch this group of players and you're like, okay. Tommy has certainly righted the ship, I think, with certain players, and he's also been able to show that he can bring in high-level guys if he needs to bring in high-level guys, and so we will find that one out. But again, EYBL, there's going to be a lot of players up there. Now the coaches can't be there, but media can be there, so I'm going to be up there. Talking, watching some of the players, seeing what everybody has to say. It's going to be a fun time. But, like I said, Tommy Lloyd has shown he knows what he's doing with the small forward position with Carter Bryant. If they don't get if Carter Bryant leaves, they're going to find somebody else. That's what they do. They're very good at it. And not only are they very good at it, they've also shown time and time again that they don't leave any stone unturned. And we've got a ton of different examples of that. So one way or the other, Arizona is going to be just fine. I can assure you on that. The guy, like I said, he's a cool customer, and he's shown that, he certainly knows what he's doing. All right. On that note, though, very, very much appreciate you all keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. We're going to be back with you tomorrow talking more Arizona EYBL. We're going to talk about portal names. We're going to talk about the gamut. We're going to keep running this down. But Locked on Wildcats, your first listen of the day. Locked on your team every day. We will be back with you tomorrow.